How are you?
Doing well. Looking nice in your white, in your summery white, with your
Oh,
white teeth.
thanks. Yeah. Kind of covered up. It'd be cold in here.
Oh, okay. Well, that's better than hot.
Yes, because
Huh.
people are like burning up
Yes,
in
every.
my, where I'm from in the Northwest.
Oh yeah, it's crazy up there. Hey, Julia. So,
Yeah.
good evening. Happy Monday. Hi, Nadine. We
Okay.
wanted to make sure everybody knew that we were still coming on because we did not do a preview or any announcement, and we've been
We just here.
we just like all we just been popping up when like pop and just haphazard with it. So my bad, but we had decided earlier that we were going to talk about pets and stress because of our upcoming the upcoming holiday is usually associated with really loud, stressful noises for animals, but not just that. Thunder is really
Mhm.
stressful. And then it was so funny. During the last year and a half, I've read articles about animals being really stressed because of all the people that have been in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, like, can you go somewhere?
They're
Go to
like,
work. What's going
um,
on?
there's stories of people's animals, patches of hair just falling off because they're like stressed out because they're like, you have totally messed up my whole group. It's like when somebody's husband retires and if my mother-in-law's watching, she'll know. I told her we were going to talk about animals. She's like, she may or may not tune in. Um, but yeah, when my father-in-law retired, she's like, he done messed everything up.
Yeah.
The
It,
animals,
it throws you all off. So they're thrown off
yeah. And
too. They're thrown off too.
from us, our stress comes off on them. They are just reflections, and they feel the vibes coming off of us, the stress. It's so,
Mhm.
don't you find it funny when people are like, every animal I get, they're anxious, and I'm like,
You're like, mm-hmm.
the animal bites, but he only bites me. Like, "Hmm."
Yeah, there's something going on there. I've
Yeah.
never thought about that, but that's so true.
Oh, they're like, he hasn't bitten me.
That's funny.
No
That's
better.
so true.
No, and I'm not saying that that's always the case, but definitely there. If you've ever watched The Dog Whisperer or any of those shows, they always say the animals just pick up on whatever the human's putting down. So
Mhm.
so we have to think about that. But anyway, we know anxiety and stress, anxious feelings and stress are at an all-time high. So if we're feeling it, they're feeling it. And then on top of that, you put all this crazy weather, thunderstorms, fireworks, and they need help.
Mhm. Yeah, and the fireworks have already started. I was thinking about that when we were talking about this. I was like, that's already started.
Yeah.
So,
Where you live or just in
yeah,
general? Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Just the
think,
other night, a couple nights ago, and we were like, whoa, we here. So, people get started.
oh, Nadine, I really hadn't thought about vets, but that's so true. Um,
Mhm.
That's true. I never think about that. I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, the post traumatic stress, anybody who's and then now everybody who's been involved in any kind of shooting, there's thousands of people who have post traumatic stress from hearing the gunfire. There's been
Mhm.
many. Think about every single person who was at that Las Vegas shooting incident. Thousands of people are now probably traumatized anytime they hear that pop, pop, pop sound.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's a good point, Nadine. But yeah, so we thought we would talk about it because every single year I always try to help my immediate neighbors. But since we are on social media and we have this show, we thought we would, kind of broadcast to the larger audience, whoever watches this now and maybe hopefully before next week. Talk
Yeah, they got time too.
about time. Talk about what to do. And a lot of times, especially for pets, people are like, oh, but because we use essential oils. That's
Mhm.
one of the tools that we use. And a lot of times people are afraid to use essential oils because maybe they've heard that they are dangerous to use around the pet. So we
Mhm.
just kind of wanted to address that too. So did you have anything you want to add before I keep talking my
No, nope. I
no?
I think all that is good what you're talking about, and addressing that for people, and people just being empowered, because just like you use on yourself, don't do anything that you're not comfortable with. But we want you to be empowered and make the choice from that space versus, oh my gosh, you can't do such and such. Meanwhile, you got Glade plugins everywhere, and you're cleaning with all kinds of chemicals, these things that are happening over and over, but you're afraid to use a pure quality oil.
When you said meanwhile, I always have pictures in my head. So I was thinking, meanwhile, your cat is like, "Ee!" And like the cat that got like electrocuted. They're like, anyway, I don't know why I had that picture of like a frazzled cat. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
you're walking around like that. But
Yeah.
you're worried about there's things that can soothe and calm. And you think
Mhm.
about, especially for animals, okay, they live outside where the plants are.
Yeah.
So most of the plants they are
Mhm.
familiar with, and they're
Mhm.
super smart. They don't eat stuff that's not good for them. They're like, "Let me smell it." Nope. I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
That one right there, that could hurt me. So they know.
Mhm.
Smart like that. Unlike, we have to read
I
textbooks, like,
I think that's what's so interesting, because animals, people their animals will get into all kinds of things that they shouldn't have, that are synthetic or
mm,
not real or something like that. They'll get that messed up because they're just gonna take it. Oh, it smells good or whatever, and they'll eat it. People will have, animals, they're like, they eat everything,
they do.
everything, things that are bad for them, things that hurt them. Um, but that's usually not when it comes to natural stuff.
No, it's very
It
rare.
doesn't work that way. Their body isn't confused. They're not confused on that.
Nope. It's very fascinating when you look at the frequency or the incidence of poisonings with natural substances with animals. They don't. It would have to be forced on them. They would have to be poisoned, but
Mhm.
they wouldn't go seek it out because they're smart. They're intuitively wise,
Yep.
instinctively wise. So anyway, neither one of us has a dog or a cat. We were talking about that before
Yeah.
too.
I have no desire, not a one.
She doesn't wish harm.
You have to be clear. I do have to be clear because it freaks people out when you're not an animal person. Like, some people take it so personally, and I'm like, man, I don't take it personally that you love this animal more than humans. So you shouldn't take it personally that I don't. But they do. So I always have to
They
be clear.
they
I
sure
don't want it hurt.
no, they will. And I have friends who are like, so because my daughter's really allergic to cats, and they literally think that we don't like their cat. I'm like, I it's not Harvey's fault.
Yeah.
Um, I wish he wasn't allergic.
Mhm.
He says my parents have a neighbor that refuses to use oils because the pet's in their home, yet she's trying to get Prozac prescribed for their rescue dog's anxiety issues. Wow, that's
Yeah.
I will say, I've mentioned before the most highly attended online class I ever had, and I know that there are people who specialize in animals and essential oils. We have an essential oil veterinarian, Janet Rourke, who is like, very, very
We have a
well.
whole advisory board
We have a
that
whole
that she is on.
she's
Yeah.
on. She's just very accessible, and
Mhm.
she's out there educating. So we certainly don't claim to be experts or anything. But when I did have a class focusing on that, it was like packed. And I will say that some of those people I had invited numerous times to classes to learn about their own health and how natural.
Well,
And nope, they did not come until it was for
they
the dog.
still haven't been back for. But let me interrupt you and say this. I've had people that because and that's why we know about the animals, because we help so many people that do have animals. Most people have them. You had a little chart with statistics. Most people have them. So we're the minority in that way too, of,
We're-
of animals. But I've had people come to me to find out about something, like something real non-compliant. And so they're trying to figure out where they can get support. And I mean, huge things. And then they're hemming and hawing, they're figuring out, and I'm gathering up my stuff. Time to go, because this must not be for you. And then someone says something about, did you know that you can use such and such for, scruffy? And they're like, what? I can use, in their mind, I can't tell you how many times this has happened. And their mind is totally changed. And you're like, but your main interest was because your daughter is having such a hard time with blankety blank blank. And you were like hemming and hawing, but now you find out that Scruffy can have a drop of lavender on his paw, and we're like at the buying line. It's pretty funny. It's pretty interesting. And I've had kids say, "Oh, if it's about this, the kid be right there," especially teen and up, adult kids, or teen and up, and they're like, "Oh, if it's about Scruffy, that's all you had to say. We should have started there." Yeah, they know that Scruffy comes first.
Yeah. And I did some interesting research before we got on here that has nothing to do with the topic we're talking about, but it makes sense. Why? Because of the connection people have with their animals, because of what the support they get from those animals. Mm-hmm. It's unlike any support you get from humans. Doesn't come with any conditions or judgment. And that's really huge. So I get why people will do anything for their animals. I get why they would do anything.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, it's sad. One day the world will be in a place where humans treat each other that way, and will have good relationships with the animals. Mm-hmm. But it's not like that now. So there are people that the less you have of that, the more. If you can have both, awesome. I'm not saying that families don't. If you can have good relationships with your family and good relationships with your animals, they are part of your family, the whole deal, good for you. But a lot of people don't. And you also think of people who live alone, the elderly, and people who lived alone, like during this pandemic, their animals have people are getting on the animals' nerves. But the animals have really helped them being by themselves. So, and sick children, sick adults, whatever. So I definitely get it.
Yes, but these poor animals that are actually, they're meant to be animals, not people. They are being treated, and they're taking on all the stress of people. And so then now we see animals getting all kinds of anxiety, anxious disorders, tics, panicking, like these things that you wouldn't have seen animals have all these issues years ago. And now they're just like flooded with these issues.
They're just like humans.
They're just
humans. Their diets have gone to pot. I mean, the whole thing.
Personalities. You got Scruffy, then he turns into Buffy.
They got different personalities. They are like furry humans. They are dealing with all the things.
Right.
Frankincense ended seizures, and it was a lifesaver for him. It gave us an extra year with him. Oh, wow.
Oh, 17 years is a long time with a dog. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's get to stress and stressful issues for stress in dogs, especially, and animals, because we know we're not going to be on next week. We wanted to just let you guys know we're going to take next Monday and enjoy that day off with our families. But we just wanted to let you know that's why we wanted to talk about this week. So take notes about this for next week. And like Felicia said, there's already some celebrations and fireworks and stuff starting now. Mm-hmm. And here where I live, every day we have rain and some kind of thunder. So I know that animals, we can use this all the time. My favorite thing, I don't know what your favorite thing is, but my favorite thing to do is use Serenity. So it's probably everybody's go-to. But doTERRA makes a blend called Serenity. Mm-hmm. And I got this idea when I very first started using essential oils. I didn't know that everybody did this. And I saw Cesar Millan on the Dog Whisperer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, you can YouTube it. He's got a video where he takes it out and he just uses it straight. I always make sure. So he was like just doing his thing. If you go to any special animal and essential oil, they'll tell you really always want to dilute your essential oils when you use them on animals. The smaller the animal, the more you want to dilute, because they're just sensitive. So you want to use plenty of carrier oil and just a little bit of essential oil. But he would put it on the chest, right, where they'd smell it, or he would actually put it on, like the dog had a little handkerchief and he'd tie it around his neck and put it on his ears, rub it on his ears. And then I started noticing, okay, where he's putting it near where the skin, the paw pads, where their skin exposed, the inside of the ear. And I tried that with my mom's dog, and I was just amazed at how quickly. So this was years ago when my mom still had her dog, when my mom was still around. So that's my favorite thing. Serenity, if you do that before, it's great. But you can wait until the dog is actually in an anxious state, and it'll calm them right down. My mom's dog was in.
That's one of the ones that, well, not one of the ones, because I don't have a ton of experience. I don't have much experience using it myself, but I had a neighbor when I lived in New Mexico, lived, I don't know, 5 or 6 houses up the way. And I went up there. She was using oils, and I went up there for some reason. And you knocked on the door, and those dogs, she had 2 or 3, I want to say 3, and they would lose their minds. So I went in, we're talking, you know, she's trying to get them, just all the ruckus. And so I said, I got something for them when I come back. So the next time I put my Serenity on, rubbed it on me, and knocked on the door, they did their deal. And they were, you know, and she was like, just a minute. She's trying to figure them out. And then they're running all around. And so I walk in, and I literally did this over them. I didn't even touch them. I just went like this, and they went and laid down. And she was like, and so every time I would go over, I would put my Serenity on, and I would just wave it in front of them, and they would go and lay down. It was that powerful.
Yeah.
She was like, she's like, I need this. When, you know, when people come over, she goes, it's so crazy. They need to be trained. You know, she would do all the things that people do when you go and your children are acting a mess or your animals are acting up. All the things you say, that's what she was doing. And I went in and literally did my whole, you know, Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off, and they went and laid down. So it's pretty.
She probably thought you were like doing some kind of magic spell.
Well, the way she looked, she was like, and if she didn't know that, you know, that's why I was coming over anyways to help with oils. But I was like, that's a good one, you know, that worked for them. And then you hear people saying all the time that they figured out that, oh, I had a friend, her dog had a hurt foot. And so she gave, and so I don't know if they knew how he heard it or whatever, but she gave him some copaiba, and then she gave it to him, and he was like just hanging out, no pain. Then by the evening, he would be ripping and running and going, and she's like, okay. She gave him some more. She figured out it was really relaxing him, which was good. He needed that for his little foot, because he had been hampering, you know, all the time, but she was giving him just a little bit, and it was laying him out. And she was like, okay, at that 3rd day, she's like, I think he's probably good. I think now the copaiba is relaxing him. Sure enough, she was like, if he's running around at 5 or 6 o'clock, then I'm going to know that he's fine now. It's just, and sure enough, he was. She sent me a video. He was zipping around. So
no more limping.
Yep, no more limping, and it was good. And then she didn't give it to him the next day, and he was fine. But I thought that was cute.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's what it's able to do. And I know one thing that is really annoying for people is barking dogs, and dogs that just bark, 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 bark all the time. And like you said, maybe they bark to announce somebody that's coming, get really worked up. But that's always a nervous energy. So a barking, even if your dog's barking because there's like an intruder, they are on high alert. Their nervous system is high. They're on higher flight. So that's why those calming oils are really good for dogs that tend to bark in like incessantly or unnecessarily.
Yeah, they don't stop.
Thing. Yeah, it's a nervous thing. I didn't always pair that. I'm just like, oh, it's just, you know, that dog barks all the time. They're actually stressed. That's their way of saying, you know, like, I'm nervous. So it's another thing that you can do. Even lavender, you know, lavender is like one of the most common calming, easy on your dog oils. That's, you know, they're there are a couple of oils that you need to be careful that you don't inundate your dog with, or especially your cat. And it's funny because, like I said, the dog or the cat, they will veer away from it. They won't like the smell of it. They'll kind of like get it away. But they tend to really like the smell of lavender, or in my experience, they have. But it's like with you, they're like, okay, okay.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I need to be calm. They just went and laid down.
They go lay down, and but almost like if they want to be in that nervous energy, they're like, no, don't calm me down.
Well, that was so funny. I had no idea that it was going to be that quick.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's pretty impressive. That's one of the things I've always loved to do with skeptic people that are skeptical, because you can't placebo a dog. So even if you have a plant and you're like, you're like, oh, here, try this, and the person was a plant, you can't have a dog that's a plant. So that dog is like, they're giving you the real deal.
What?
Oh yeah, digestive issues too. And a lot of times digestive issues, Brenda said,
Oh yeah.
ate part of several decomposed frogs.
Severe tummy ache.
Yeah, he had some bacteria in those frogs, was not agreeing with him.
No, digestion capsules covered in PB. So in peanut butter, yeah, to disguise it. Oh my goodness. People get pretty creative in the things that they do and the things that they've been able to help their dogs. I know that there was a lady in California. I've never met her. I met her sister in New Mexico. She called me and she bought, one of every single oil. And I was like, whoa, okay. And she was like, yes, she was a dog, not a dog trainer, a dog breeder.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, is it parvo? I think it's called. That can take down a whole, mess up everything. And she was like, no, I've been able to, like, that has really been helpful for her. So that's why just that alone, she was like, I want one of each.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was, of course, her sister was the one who introduced her to it, but she saw the results. And then she was like, what's the girl's name? Called me up.
Yep.
So
that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. For discomfort, that's another thing. I know we said stress, but I just guess help for animals, period. Someone said that it gave them more years, their dog, with pain. I had a friend who they were saying that they thought they were going to have to put their dog down too, and she couldn't make it up the stairs. They were carrying her around. She was just having so much pain in her quarters, which is real common with larger dogs. Their back legs and their hips bother them, their spine. And she just deep blue and frankincense, and she diluted deep blue and frankincense and was rubbing it on the paw pads. And she said, you will not believe, my dog just walked up the steps and got all the way up the stairs by herself after one application that night. And then she just kept using it, and she just uses it every day, and she's okay.
Isn't that crazy?
It's been a couple of years now, and they were getting ready to put her down.
Isn't that something? Support you can, the support you can get.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's
pretty amazing. Their animals provide so much joy for them, and being able to, like in a humane way. Because sometimes I think some of these animals, I'm like, I don't know if what they're doing is is better. I'm like, this animal is suffering.
Yeah. Right.
But each owner gets to make that choice. But that certainly is not an example of that. That's an example of
because they were going to compassionately put the dog down.
Exactly.
Didn't have a fatal. It just was in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going to do a compassionate, euthanasia. Yeah. But no, the dog's not in pain anymore, so no need. So Brenda wanted to correct. It wasn't several decomposed frogs. It was one severely decomposed frog. So her dog's not has sense. It was like once he ate one decomposed frog, he stopped. He didn't eat more than one. So that I'm glad that, Brenda, because I was like, I don't know about your dog eating several.
Yeah.
I'm glad he only ate one.
Also, Nadine, her husband, she and her husband have rescued some abused puppies, and they're using Copaiba. Oh, awesome.
So why are you using the Copaiba on the puppies? Because they were abused? Are you trying to help calm them from their trauma of, or yeah, tell
Was
us.
it pain? Probably both.
Yeah, maybe both. Love
Mhm.
Copaiba.
It would be awesome for both, but yeah.
Yeah, Digestin for the digestive issues we had across the street. We really need to go back and properly say goodbye to some of our neighbors from where we just moved from. But across the street, we had a neighbor with a very large French bulldog who ate. He was very, his BMI was high. Let's just put it that way. He ate a lot of bacon. And his owner, he would just be there, and the owner would be like giving him bacon. He'd be like, another, okay. And like, he was like, and then we go over there, he'd just be laying in his belly, just out, and he just looked like he was in so much pain. And then he would let out some real foul air.
I bet.
And yeah, and Wesley rubbed some Digestin on his stomach, and oh man, he was just, you could just tell he rolled back over, and he's just like, oh, thank you.
No, give me another piece of bacon.
Like, bless you, child. Yes, no, he was like, he did not want the bacon, but and that's, his owners loved him, and they're in their 80s, and that's their way to show him love. Like, they don't have, they're not able to like really run him and walk him, and
yeah.
so anyway, it's that Digestin is incredible for their little digestive issues.
Or big digestive issues.
Yeah, he's supposed to be little, but he
probably ate a lot of stuff. He was eating more than bacon.
Yeah, he eats everything.
Mm-hmm.
Said that she uses the Copaiba to help calm them. They're very anxious, and they bark all the time at my husband. So maybe they were abused by a man. That's good to know, because all this time I've been using Serenity as kind of my go-to to help calm, and I haven't really used Copaiba as go-to, probably because Serenity's just been stuck in my mind as a thing to reach for. But the great thing about Copaiba is that if they are in discomfort, or if that you can, kill all those birds with one oil.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna really I need to start handing that out. My new neighbors are gonna love it. They're all gonna get some.
Oh, that'd be a good
It'll be good for next week.
Yeah, a good one to, I mean, giving them, like you said, lavender and Copaiba, or make a rope, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Our neighborhood, I think they're actually gonna have like our own community thing.
Oh, okay.
They had it not too long ago.
They already did?
They did one just for like our community, just to say, hey, this is our community. They're very proud of this community.
Yes, they're like, hey, this is us. So we'll do fireworks.
We're here.
And then 4th of July, we'll do fireworks. And then at the end of July, y'all do fireworks.
Every other day. And I know there are people that are very, very adamantly against fireworks. They're like opposed to it. So some of them like to just like do something and sleep through it, and just be like, I just want to pretend like this is not happening. It's nice for them to be able to zone out.
Yeah. They can do it in a good way.
Right. Instead of like being knocked out. Are there console? Yeah, console when they're grieving. That is so true, Brenda. I should post a picture. I don't want to make Shelly sad, but Shelly Fuerte, Shelly, the one that her house sitting, or actually I was a guest at their house and they left, and I was dog sitting. Her name was Violet. She had a French bulldog that was the right size. She's little. She's supposed to be little. Man, when they left that house, you would have thought that dog had gone into like severe grieving. They left, and she just laid out on the floor. And she just like, I'm like, I was petting her, trying to play with her. She would just limp.
She was like, where is my family?
She was listless. And I tried console, and she just did that. I gave her cheer, and she perked up. So she smelled the cheer, she perked up, and she at least came alive. I mean, I thought she was dying. She was dramatic.
That was scary, huh? Christine Mulvaney, if you go to doTERRA.com and you put in animals, there is an article or maybe more than one,
Oh yeah.
and that will tell you exactly what, and then you can make some decisions on what you want to do.
Yep. I love that. There's so much education on doTERRA.com that I a lot of times don't even remember is there.
Well, and it's so awesome because it's for their oils and what they say, and then of course there's all kinds of you see in the comments things that people do, because people they love the oils and they learn what to do with their animals. But if you want something written that you can go to, you can get it right there on the site.
And then, like, if you can also Google different dilution ratios and stuff for weights, because I know people are always asking, well, how much do I use for this dog and that dog? And it really has to do with sizes. And all of that is like that information, somebody's done all that work. So you don't have to figure all that out. It has been done. Yes, Tammy, we were talking about Serenity and Copaiba for fireworks, thunder, and just to calm them. But then we did say lavender is, I mean, you don't have to have Serenity. Serenity is great, but lavender is very simple. I do think it's probably a good idea to start, simple with animals. And a Serenity is a blend with lots of different oils in it. So if I had a dog, I would probably start with lavender, so I could be like, okay, she did good with lavender. Whereas you're giving them Serenity and it's got like 8 different oils, and if they don't particularly like one, you won't know which one it was. So it's probably smart, Tammy, to do like you're saying, and do single oils. For me, that's what I would do if I had a dog.
Yes. I'm looking up.
I'm curious, if you were to like consider having a dog, Felicia, what kind of dogs do you think are cute? Like, what dog catches your eye when you see it that you're like, I could see myself with that kind of dog?
Not a one, but let me not a one, but let me think. Let me go there. Like my brain doesn't even go there. When I was a kid and I had a dog, I wanted, because Lassie. And so I was like, oh, Lassie. And then I learned about a German Shepherd. And so I think Lassie, I don't know dog types, but I think, is there a collie? Is that what Lassie was? So I had a German Shepherd mix collie, German Shepherd collie, and his name was Champ. Champ was wild as they come and was digging up the yard and acting a fool and just like he needed to go to obedience school. So I would probably have another dog like that just because
you like that.
I got so sick. We both got pink eye. I'm allergic to dogs. So that doesn't help anything. So I was sicker than a dog. But when you're raised by your grandmother, it just shows you shouldn't be raised by grandparents. They should be grandparents. I wanted a dog because my cousins had one. Okay, we'll get her one. Her kids had one. And my asthma went through the roof with him. And I was an asthmatic kid anyway. And so she was just trying to, appease me. And so that didn't work out. Champ had to go bye-bye.
Was Champ in the house?
No. No.
In the house and you still got that allergic? Wow.
Yeah. Champ grew so fast, so quick, and was so huge and so clumsy and so,
Champ sounds amazing.
Yeah, and then they, my grandmother loved to fish, so Champ would go too, and they were like, "Oh, he's so wild out here." So I think she was past the age of trying to help me and thinking, and if I had been well, then she probably would have went the next level and got him some, because he needed some help. He was out of his mind, and so only my uncles could come over and control him. They'd be like, "Champ," and he would come, But as soon as they left, he would look, they're gone. And he would get started again. My uncles and my dad could too. But no, he was not listening to women. He was, this is before he was even 1, because we probably had him maybe a couple years. Yeah. And I got hospitalized and she was like, okay.
Oh. See, I've never heard of Champ.
Yeah, Champ.
Champ. He wasn't really a champ though.
Champ was something else.
He should have been Scamp. So he was all over the place, acting a fool.
Acting a fool. They were like, they had the nerve to take him fishing. They take Champ fishing with him.
Oh, but collies are like that. So collies are they are full of energy. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking maybe the German Shepherd would have tempered some of that because they're more
Yeah.
stable but no,
Yeah.
he was both
No, no. He was white and had white and black. He was a pretty
oh,
dog.
Champ. Let's see, I got
Mhm.
my mind in Champ now. So you might get it if you were to, it might be something like that. Not
Mhm.
not one of these little pocket dogs.
No,
No, okay, okay.
no.
I'm just trying to picture you because you know how you like your little bling. I could see you with like a
You
little
can see, no, not even, no,
no, not a little
not interested in that at all.
not an
Mm-mm.
accessory. Okay.
Mm-mm. Well, and I think there's more chances of people treating them like humans because
Oh
they're
yeah.
so little, and I'm like, I'm really not going for that.
Mhm.
So, not
I remember
interested.
when I worked at the bank and I was a teller, and there's a lady that would come and she would just sit her dog right there on the countertop. And the dog would come across and would be like, I'm a register. I'm like, can you get her?
Yeah,
And she was like, oh, like, so I
yeah,
had to like scoot her back over because she was just like, oh, you silly little thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe
People are not. Yeah,
it's
it's pretty funny.
yeah. When we
They're
first got
like,
here to Colorado, we really learned Colorado is dog friendly. Like someone that's moving here, one of our friends is like, how are they with dogs? I'm like, oh, dogs run Colorado. Because when we
they have
first
first place. They have first place.
they run things. When we moved here, I remember Glenn was getting some work boots, and so he sat down at one of those stores where they sell the expensive work boots. I can't think of the name right now. And I sat down in the seat, and right next to me, here comes plop. Here comes like a big golden retriever, sat down in the seat next to me, and was like, he
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
what size do you need?
Yeah,
He worked there. He was the store
yeah,
owner's dog, and he was like, "Can I help you?"
yeah.
Because I was like, "Good."
I always think about, like, plane rides and people bring their animals, and I'm like, okay, when I get hemmed into one of those little seats with someone with their animal, somebody got to go. And I could move, but one of us got to go because I will be in here not being able to breathe, messing around
Right.
with you and your animal. And I'm thinking, I always think too, what if the animal gets sick? Like, I think of all these things, and people, I'm sure they travel all over and their animals
Oh
are
yeah.
fine.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm like, what if one gets sick? Then all y'all are just on that aisle together, huh? With the
Oh,
dog who has an upset stomach or
oh yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Well, together.
Just together. And so it's never happened. I've been in line and I'm like, oh, I hope I'm not sitting by him because I don't care what you bring, what you do, but I can't be hemmed up like that because I'm not trying to be sick. So
They generally behave better than humans. Generally, they
I've
behave.
never heard, and like the times that I've been on the same flight, I've never been in the same. I think I've even been close as a couple rows, and I was even kind of worried about that. But I've, calmed down inflammation and things like that, so I don't react as bad. But being
Yeah.
on the same row would probably not be good.
No. 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 Well, I don't know how we got on that, but I'm so happy to learn about Champ.
You didn't know about Champ. I never even talked about Champ. Told my kids the other day, or they'll see a picture with Champ and they're like,
Oh, there's a
you had a dog?
oh,
I'm like, yep, that's what happens when you live with grandparents.
you'll
What do
have
you want?
to text me the picture of Champ. Now I need to see the picture.
I'll have to find one. It's when I go home to Washington. I'll have to find one. Leslie says, I agree. I don't want to be beside a dog to play. I remember a big one, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think I saw that online. I didn't see that in person. I saw that online. I was like, are they for real? Like, this dog has a seat and everything, and you just, what? I was like, can someone, can I put me somewhere? Yeah. Because no thanks.
We'll have to have a whole nother show about all the research I was showing you before this show.
About dogs? Yeah.
About who likes dogs and who doesn't.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty interesting, huh?
Yes, there is a huge, huge amount of psychology and history behind pet ownership.
My friend did a history on I think it was Rottweiler, or what's the other one that people
Pit bulls.
Pit bulls is what she did, and it talked about how I think every it's probably every century there is like a bad dog or whatever. So she went back and was explaining all the history of that. It was pretty interesting, and how things switched and why, cats are just weird. Oh, Leslie, me and Leslie, we agree on some things.
That's just weird.
She's going 2 for 2 right there. Yeah, someone was asking about does certain oils attract attract cats, and so I had never even thought of that. And it said, and someone was saying, "Oh yeah, when I use this, my cat comes and licks my," and I was like, if a cat came and licked me, I would pass out.
You sound like my mother-in-law.
I would pass out. So I'm like, I did not know that. I'm writing this down. What oil is this?
You'll never pass it again. You're like, what if it was patchouli?
I know. I was thinking about that when you were talking about the dogs. I'm like, I wonder, do they like patchouli? And cats love me because they don't want the person who wants them, because they do what they want to do. Now they rule the world and they do what they want to do. So they want to be by me. And I'm like, you can't come over here, Sam or Max or whoever you are, get on over there. And then the homeowner is like, oh, well, I don't care what he'll just. He need to stay over there.
He's not going to do it.
Yeah, he's not going to do it over here. What he's not going to do is mess with me. And this is his home. So I will leave. Oh, no, I don't want you to do that. Yeah, this is his home. So I need to go.
Yeah. Because if it wasn't, you would have put him in a room and shut the door.
Exactly. He is welcome here and he has first choice. So I'm out of here. And ain't no love lost. I understand.
One of us has to go. Either me or him.
One of us has to get up out of here. When people have amnesia with their animal, they're like, oh, my dog doesn't do this or my dog doesn't do that. I used to be in homes setting up for my little presentation and I would see all kinds of shenanigans. It's like, well, he's sitting in the cookies. He put his nose in the glass. Oh, don't do that. Ain't no cookies getting moved.
There's the eyes.
Ain't no classes getting changed. And so and then afterwards, do you want some? I don't want nothing in here. I've seen what happened before y'all got here. And see, you guys don't know what you don't know won't hurt you. But I saw Scruffy pass gas right over this coffee table about 5 times. And you're eating all the food that was on there. So I used to see some stuff and they would be like, I don't know why he's doing that. Because he does it all the time.
Right.
That's why. But you have amnesia. Something happens. When you love your animal, you don't think they do things.
Oh,
I guess.
They have extra spicy snacks.
Some extra spicy. And everybody is there just eating. And the whole time I'm thinking, but you don't know don't hurt you. I said, because I'm like, but I know. And afterwards I'm getting my stuff. Oh, did you want to take a plate? No, I don't want nothing. No. Remember, I was here 20 minutes before. I saw.
Yep. I mentioned that to you.
Too funny.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, it's been hilarious. Yes, they do test the rules, and if they don't get boundaries set, there are no boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Wesley is like begging for a dog, so we'll have to. I won't show her the show.
Didn't you guys have one? What did you guys have? You guys have had little pigs or something. What did you have?
We had a skinny pig. A hairless guinea pig. Yes, no.
She's not allergic to dogs, and you aren't either?
She is, yeah.
Oh.
She is. So we're just working on it. It's not here. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see. We'll see. Right now she's okay. I know we'll just see. She's 10. We'll see how long. Glenn wants her to really, it's like when I said I wanted to have a baby, Glenn's like, you got to want a baby for a year straight.
For a year straight. You got to have 2 yeses. What they say, you got to have 2.
Without changing your mind any month.
It says, she says, "Oh my, I almost put my father in timeout. He was feeding my poor dog tuna salad off his fork. Oh no." Yeah, you see some stuff. I was on there was a viral video that I went by, and the dog was, kissing the man. And then, I mean, it was so like, are y'all making out? I had to scroll the thing. It was that intense. And I was like, oh wow. And they probably thought, oh, I just love him.
But
I don't know.
where they lick. Oh.
People are like, I got a good immune system. Is that what they say? I don't know. I don't know what you say when you. I don't know what you say when you let, your dog lick you in the mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, that you really love your dog, like you said.
You do. You do.
So if you love your dog. Help your dog through the stressful time.
Yes.
By using some of the things we talked about. I mean, you guys probably know other ways to soothe your dog.
Yes.
But if you don't know about essential oils, use them this week. Use them this week. And if you don't have some, then hit up one of us or somebody else
Yes.
who does. If you haven't tried it yet, do it.
And you want quality. That's the difference from if you see horror stories. I'll see in passing people say, "Oh no, they don't use essential oils because it can do this and it can do that." That's because it's synthetic garbage. And, it's no different than pouring perfume on your dog or letting them, So that's the main difference there. And of course, using too much.
Yep.
So just using common sense.
Yep.
Plenty of people, if you want to go down that route, plenty of people do use them, and they are totally safe for their fur babies.
And yeah, life-changing. Like we said, animals walk outside in the flower beds. They trash the flower beds. What do you think they're rubbing up against? They're rubbing up against metals and oil, leaves with all kinds of oil on them. All right. So that's what the more you know, the more you can help your animal. Okay. Hopefully we've helped you guys get ready for this coming week of lots of sounds. Next Monday, we won't
see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks, and everybody have a wonderful evening.